Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and get the oil changed on the pressure washer. A couple of things that we're going to need is just the container here that's stored right with the pressure washers that will hold the old oil, the bad oil. And then we're going to have a couple of just containers, anything to prop the wheels up so that we can drain the pump oil. We're going to need a funnel for the oil. We're going to need the foreman tool bag, and then we're also going to need your oil. So you got your pump oil right here. It's the blue cat pump oil, and then you're going to need the engine oil, the Honda engine oil, and we're using 10W30. So I will get started here. I'm going to go ahead and replace the engine oil, so I'm going to get started by just taking the cap off right here so this oil can drain into the reservoir. I'll set it down right there, and then I'll take the pressure washer, grab it back here and then on the front. It's a little bit easier to do obviously if you get two people, but just lift it up, set it down here, and now I can take off the cap, the engine oil. So I'm going to use one of these out of the crew bag, and I'm going to find the right fitting. There is a nut on the side here. It's going to drain the oil. So you don't have to, this is the oil cap for the engine. You don't have to take this off and tip it over. You just have to undo this nut. When you take it off, oil is going to start coming out. So you got to use this piece in here first. Plug it into this. This will have some flexibility to it, which you kind of need here. And I'm going to take that off. I'm going to show you real quick what that nut looks like. And I'll back the camera up. So that's the nut that I'm taking off right there. You can see there's a hole right here so it can drain through. That's going to be for the engine oil, and this is going to be where I'm going to be putting engine oil into after it's drained out. You want to make sure that you don't strip that fitting. If you are getting any slippage, make sure that you use a socket wrench instead of an impact drill. When you take this off, you're going to have a washer there too, so make sure it's still connected, it doesn't drop down. And make sure we get that put back on right. I'm going to let this drain for, I don't know, 5 minutes or so, and then I'll probably run some good oil through it just to kind of rinse it out, and then we'll get that nut put back on and fill it up with oil. So I'll come back in like 5 minutes. Okay, it's been a little bit, it's not really dripping anymore, so I'm going to take this cap off. And I'm just going to run a little bit of oil in there. Just want to run it off to kind of see it to start to come out of there again. Let it drain for like a 30 seconds or so, and then I'll get that cap put in. I'll get it off this platform and we'll put the oil back in. Make sure that when you get this threaded in here, you can't force it. You can't screw up like you could a piece of wood. You force this and you misthread it. It's an expensive repair. You really want to just get it kind of threaded in by hand. And then at the very end, I'll just give it a couple of tweaks here. Like that's probably good right there. If you go too tight, it's going to be harder to get off in the future. So I'm going to pull it off this platform here. And get our oil put back in. The oil that this engine can, the amount of oil this engine can take is about a full container. One of these full containers. This container is a quart. I think they say the max capacity is like 1.16 quarts. So I just get a full quart put in and should be good. If the pressure washer is low on oil, it will shut off automatically. So it could be it's a common cause, like during the summer, if the oil isn't changed soon enough and it starts to burn through some of its oil, not good, it shouldn't happen, but if it does happen, it will shut off automatically. Or sometimes if the pressure washer is sitting on an angle, on a hill, the way it sets off that indicator, which shuts it off automatically. That was a full container. We'll get this cap put back on, and that will be it for the engine oil. Now we can do the actual pump oil next. Okay, so I got this thing just set up like this, a couple of 2x4s underneath the wheels there to prop it up a little bit. And that's pretty much it. I'll go ahead and get this oil taken out of this. More or less, just take this in, slide it right there, lift it up. Just like that. Well, I will take a 10-inch wrench here, get this taken off. This is a plastic fitting here. You want to make sure you get it on there right, and you're not going to strip this plastic fitting. Let's see here. I'm going turn to the left here to get it taken off. It's good to have a rag with you as well for all this oil. I'll get this top cap taken off as well. Help it drain a little bit faster. So we'll go ahead and let this drain out for a couple minutes. And I'll do the same thing, get some fresh oil run through it, and put the cap back on. These two oils that we're changing out, we're going to want to do it every 6 weeks during the summer because we use these pressure washers quite a bit. So make sure some time's dedicated on like a Friday or a Monday morning every 6 weeks to get the oil changed out. When I took this cap off, there is a little rubber washer. Just be careful of that. Make sure it doesn't fall inside of there or fall off. You're going to want to use that washer again. Run some of the cap pump oil into the pump. And I will go ahead get the bottom cap replaced. Now I can get this oil filled back up again. You want to fill it right up to this red line right here. And if you just keep filling and filling and you're not kind of gauging it like maybe it's almost full, you're gonna blow past this. You're gonna have to take this cap off and pour some oil out again. So this specific pump for this pressure washer takes about 8.5 ounces of pump oil. Yeah, I saw it just start to fill up. As soon as you see it start to fill up, you gotta stop immediately, because it's gonna keep pouring in there. And I'm right at the top of the red, so I think that's fine. So go ahead and get this put back on. I'm gonna get this taken off of here, get this cleaned up, make sure there's no oil in the shop here, and get the cap put back on this. This will last quite a while before we have to turn it into a shop, and they'll just take the oil for free when we get to that point. But yeah, I'll get cleaned up, and that's pretty much how you change out the oils.